How many times have you faced the problem of switching across LLMs once you started working on an LLM project? Most of the times in any given LLM projects, we start experimenting with one of the available LLMs. At a later point in the project, we discover that the LLM that we used might not be the right choice for the job at hand, and we might want to switch to another LLM, maybe to another LLM provider itself. So in those cases, most often we will have to change our client code in order to call the new LLM, right? What if I say that you will be able to switch to any LLMs without the need to change any client code that you have written? That is the exact functionality that is provided by the tool called LiteLLM. It is an LLM gateway proxy and it has much more functionality under the hood. Let's dive into it. So LiteLLM is a LLM gateway that provides model access to all the LLMs using the OpenAI format. Okay, what you see is the home page of LiteLLM. So it is LiteLLM.ai. If you go to this website, you will see all these documentation links. So let's dive into the docs. So right here in the docs, you will see all the getting started information, how to get started. There are multiple ways to get started. So for this session, we will concentrate on the LiteLLM proxy server. So you can find all the information on how to set it up right here in the getting started end-to-end tutorial. As you can see, it is very elaborate and very detailed. It is good enough for you to get started. So I will not be going into details of how to set it up here. Okay, so let's now go to the LiteLLM dashboard itself. So if you have set it up correctly and your application is running on localhost 4000, this is the default port at which LiteLLM would run if you are doing it in your local. So once you hit that URL, you will get this Swagger page, which is basically the API endpoints that is available with LiteLLM. So you can see that all you have these models, V1 models, and all the chat completion APIs right here. All these endpoints are OpenAI spec based endpoints. We will be able to connect to any LLMs using these chat completion APIs itself. So let's go into the UI for a second. So I'll log into this. As you can see, it presents us with a very simple UI. In the UI, you will find that there is a lot of functionality right here. We have virtual keys, we have these models, usage, teams, organization, API model hub, and lot more in here. So in this video, we will only look at how to add models and how to switch across models. More of the functionality will be covered in coming videos. Okay, so if we go into the models, you can see that I have already added a couple of models here. You can see that there are some of these models which are from Anthropic, some of them which are Gemini, basically the Google models. So all these are added into the LiteLLM proxy here. So the way we add the models is we click add model here. If you click on the add model, you can see that almost all the providers that is available out there in open market is available here, including the Ollama ones, which says for running your local LLMs. So this is pretty handy. So in my case, I just went into Anthropic. I just clicked on any of the models that I had. Like I wanted to use the Haiku latest model. I clicked on that and then provided the API key here. That's all I did, and there is a nice just the model functionality here, and you can add the model right here. All right, so once we add the models will be listed here. We will see how to connect to these models from the client code in a second. The other good thing is you will find that there is a model hub where you have all these models listed, and you also have the details of the model. So you can see the cost per token of cost per million tokens for any of your models right here. This is very handy when you want to compare the cost, when you want to switch across your models. You can just take a look at what cost is there for each model and then decide which one to use at the time, right? Now let's get into the most important aspect on how to access these models from using LiteLLM endpoints, right? So as I said, each of the models are added with its keys added into LiteLLM, and once the models are added, we associate them to virtual keys. Okay, so the virtual keys are nothing but keys that we create for our client code to connect to LiteLLM. So the way this works is, in our client code, we use the virtual keys that are created in LiteLLM to connect to the LiteLLM proxy, and these keys are then configured to access any of the models that we already have added into LiteLLM. So if I go into this particular key, so basically you can see that there are two keys that I have added. One key I have kept specifically for the Anthropic related models, and another one I kept it as common key, which is actually having the Gemini models right now. So if I go into the Anthropic key, you can see that I have already added the Claude models here. I have the 3.5 Sonnet model and 3.5 Haiku models added in here to this key. And if you go into this common key, you can see that I have the Gemini keys added. Now let's try to write some client code and connect to these models. Okay, now let's look into the code for connecting to the LiteLLM models. As if you remember, I had a couple of models for Gemini as well as a couple of models for Anthropic. So you can see that I have used the Gemini model here. I am loading the Gemini API key as well. I have been using two API keys inside LiteLLM itself for Gemini as well as Anthropic. Like you see here. So if you look at these virtual keys, I had two keys here. One was being used for the Anthropic ones, and the one which I call as common key here is for the Gemini ones. So if we go into here, I have just given the Gemini API key, and the model is this guy, and I'm actually loading the LangChain OpenAI client, right? So this should be of interest to you because I'm using the OpenAI client itself to connect to a Gemini model. So ideally, if we are connecting to Gemini using LangChain, you should have used LangChain underscore the Google API clients and then connected to Gemini. But since we are using the proxy, LiteLLM proxy here, we will be able to connect to Gemini just using the OpenAI client. Okay, so this is a very simple prompt that I have given, just asking it which model are you and printing out the response content. Let's try that. Okay, it just says that I am a large language model and it is trained by Google, which kind of says that this model is trained by Google, and we have hit a Google model using the LangChain OpenAI client itself. Okay. Now let's switch gears and switch to the Anthropic model. I'll just load the Anthropic API key and then probably switch to one of the models I have right here. Let me take this guy, which is the Claude Haiku model. Let me paste that model right here. Okay. So notice that I have only changed the API key as well as the model here. I am not even touching the base URL. As you can see, the base URL is the proxy base URL. Let's try this out. Okay, cool. So the model says, I want to be direct with you. I am Claude, an AI created by Anthropic. I always aim to be honest about what I am. Okay, that's cool. So that means we were able to technically connect to both the models, like the Claude model as well as the Gemini model, using the same OpenAI client. Okay, I hope you found this video useful, and we will see with another video very soon. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please consider subscribing, as I will be adding more and more informative videos like this to this channel. Thank you very much for watching.